Welcome to the review vlog of Gravity Falls Season 1. So yeah, let's start going through the show in general, because I really enjoyed the show. Like, it is an immaculate puzzle, and even though it's basically just halfway through, it already is like very entertaining. The show's one of the greatest strengths is that it's enjoyable for casual viewers and those who are interested in the more intricate puzzle, which I will be solving at some point. And I might even make a video out of solving it or something, I don't know. Freaking interesting show, like, really interesting in the puzzle department, because it doesn't pay any attention to actual puzzle pieces that much, so that you are left wondering, and it is a really good mystery in the way that you are given puzzle pieces, but they are really hard to catch. It is in itself very interesting to even try and spot all of the clues that you are given, and meanwhile, it is still very entertaining to watch. But it's definitely a show that is worth rewatching over and over again to see all of the funny little references, things, and details, because the show is very detailed. But let's get on with the actual technical facts. So first off, let's speak about the graphics, or the visual department. I found the visuals to be rather interesting. In the most cases, the animation quality, for sure, is really good, like really good. Especially things like such as emotions and little details are one of the show's greatest strengths. It's not sloppy at all. So yeah, the animation is superb. It's really high quality animation, and that's really great because it captivates the audience and kind of makes the mystery seem all the more intriguing. Although it can draw your attention to the main story of the episode, which can kind of distract you from the overall mystery. Which is not bad, it makes it certainly worth rewatching. So, like, that is one of the main driving things behind the show, that it's really rewatchable, which is pretty rare for a mystery show, to be honest. That you can actually go and rewatch it, because, well, usually once you see the mystery, it's done. But the way they do the mystery, it's like, it is so that normally mystery shows have one huge plot, but instead Gravity Falls decides to go with the storyline of having single episode storylines and some continuity between them, and a huge interconnected puzzle that is just connecting all the episodes together, which makes it so that the episodes alone are very enjoyable. However, you can enjoy them by taking just pieces of them. Like, it's hard to explain, but I suppose everybody understands what I'm talking about, since it is very fun, and the mystery is really great. And then on the visual design department itself, well, the character designs are very interesting in the way that they are somewhat unrealistic. But they are like realistic enough that it doesn't bother you. It definitely doesn't fall into the uncanny valley at all, but rather it makes the show very, shall we say, child-friendly to look at. You can easily recognize the characters from the stereotypes that their designs portray, which is just a very good way to design characters in general. So you can just take a glimpse at the character and you can already guess what is his personality, or her personality, or its personality. So yeah, that's a pretty interesting, not interesting, that's a good design decision that they have made. Yet at the same time, some of the characters are maybe, like, I'm not saying that the characters are flat. That's another important part of it. The characters are designed so that they are, even though they are often stereotypical, they do have slight intricacies to them that make them seem more realistic and make them more relatable, in a manner of speaking, which is, again, good, really good. So yeah, props for the show for that. I have nitpicked the show quite a bit during my commentaries, mostly because I love the show, and there's like really small things about it that can be complained about. Like, there are no huge problems in the show overall. There are some problems, but those are mostly very subjective. So I have to nitpick. It's regrettable, because it makes me seem more disappointed in the show than I actually am, because I love it. As should be obvious from the previous, it should be very obvious from the outro of the season 1 finale that I love the show. Yeah. Then let's talk about the sound design, which is Actually, I found from the 4 shows that I'm currently doing, which are Gravity Falls, Steven Universe, Hunter x Hunter, and A Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. These 4 I'm doing at the same time. I found that Gravity Falls has the best background music in the way that I value background music, which is I want background music to be very supportive of the show's overall themes, which I feel Gravity Falls does the best. However, that is very much my personal opinion, since I actually don't think the songs are very good to listen to on their own. They are very much background music, and though they are amazing supportive pieces, alone they are not quite as good. Well, not even close as good. Whereas some other shows, some of these 4 shows actually has a lot better music that you can listen to on its own. However, they are not as good background music. But I'm very different about this whole background music, since I only value background. No. I value background music when it's supportive. However, I do value good music. So yeah. So yeah, it's a good background music. The background music is good. However, overall the music is still good. Not quite as good as music, but it still is freaking good. Like really good. Really good. I don't wanna make that a problem. So yeah. Also, just in general, the sound effects and everything just seems very good for the show. And they have actually used some out-of-place sound effects, which actually are meant to emphasize some of the comedic points and some of the actually uncanny points that the show has sometimes. Which is actually kind of a clever way to do it, I find. Where it's, again, something that's very subjective, so, you know. But it's not a problem for me. Oh my goodness, it's already 8 minutes. So yeah. Then the voice actors are actually something that I very early on talked about in the very first commentaries, and that is that the voice actors are really good. However, Dipper's voice actor I found to be far too mature for his character, or at least his age. However, for his character, it's very fitting. And so over time I actually grew to like him because it very much supported the character of Dipper. Yeah, otherwise the voice actors I found to be overall just very good. Actually, another key part of the show is that it might have some problems, but they are completely on purpose made. They are problems that are there for a reason. They are made there so you can actually, like, well, question things, and it's meant to wake up the viewers. All of the problems that the show has, they are meant to wake you up and think about the whole wake me up. It is made to wake the viewer up, so you will pay attention to the details and catch all the intricacies that the show has. Then let's talk about the story overall, which is, well, the show goes with an episodic format, and it's an interesting decision choice for a mystery show to have, and I feel like the show very much plays to its strengths. It has a very strong singular episodes, at least. Like, there are of course weaker episodes here and there, but that's natural for a show. And the show actually, like, they have made some decision choices that support the episodic format very well. And it's certainly a new experience to have a mystery show that has an episodic format. It's quite rare. However, it's masterfully crafted, and it's obvious that they planned for 2 seasons from the very beginning, so take that as you will. And then let's talk about the characters. Hey, I'm skimming over a lot of details here, but like, just because. But yeah, the characters overall. I actually very much like. I found the character choices to be very excellent for their roles. Like, the main 3 characters, I suppose, which are Stan, Dipper, and Mabel. Yeah, I consider Stan to be one of the central characters because of reasons. I mean, everybody knows. Like, he's very obvious. There's a lot of mystery behind him, and he is obviously in some bigger cult. Well, I found Dipper to be actually a very interesting viewer proxy, and overall an interesting choice. to be made, like how intelligent he is. However, he still is a child at the same time. He's like that autistic kid that knows everything. Oh wait, that's me. Whatever. So I do actually like his. Oh god, I just insulted everybody. Oh god, don't take that out of context. So I find actually Dipper to be an interesting character, viewer proxy, however, a character on his own. But they use him as a viewer proxy sometimes. However, he still isn't all that out of character even when he's used like that, because I don't actually know how they managed to do it, but it's interesting how they did. And same with Mabel. Sometimes, very rarely, they used her as a viewer proxy. Overall, she's used more as a, well, the source of the jokes, because, well, she's quite something else. Everybody who's viewed the show will know how lovely Mabel is. Let's go with that. Yeah, let's go with lovely. Strange, peculiar, and adorable. And I love it. Like, she is perhaps one of the best comic relief characters, even though she is also a character on her own and has actually some serious moments. And I overall found her to be one of my favorite characters of maybe all time in terms of comedy. There are perhaps few contenders for that point, but still, that is something that I found her to be very good at. The comic relief and the randomness, and also as a plot device, as it happens, mostly to drive random stories forward. Sometimes she, however, was used as a very, very general girl, which is kind of regrettable, actually. However, that's rather rare, like I can name 2 episodes, but yeah. Then another interesting thing is Dipper's and Mabel's relationship, as they are brother and sister, and that is a very central theme of the show, that they are very much siblings. And as a person who has 2 brothers and 2 sisters, I can very much relate to that, and I thoroughly enjoy the little sibling squabbles, which is really kind of adorable when it's how it is done. So yeah. Oh goodness gracious, I need to make some haste here. So yeah, that's really quite something. Also, one of the interesting things here, quickly pointed out, is that the show actually has some character growth for Dipper, and to a certain extent to Mabel as well, and a bit to Stan actually. Now, Stan I found to be an enigma, in the very, very literal sense. Even though he is there are very obvious hints at something grave there. They are definitely not focused on, which I certainly hope the 2nd season will focus on, so yeah. Then overall, the other characters, yeah, I'm completely skimming over Stan, mostly because we don't know that much about him yet. And there are some theories I could make, but let's save that for another time. Quickly then, other characters, I found them to be a very good supporting cast, and even though some of them will certainly get on some people's nerves, I found them to serve their purpose rather well, though I would have wished a bit more of Gideon, but that's just a personal preference, because he was already used rather effectively, as it turns out. All of the characters are indeed stereotypes, and maybe even in some times offensive stereotypes. Still, they are used rather well. Okay, I'll see you all in the next season 2, which will be starting tomorrow. So, thank you all very much for watching. It has been my pleasure to be usual, so I hope to see you all in the future. Have a great day and stay awesome. And thanks for watching. Gamu out.